Welcome back to Spearfishing Down Under. Today is actually a throwback from a day that I shot one of my great PBs.
Big Wahoo!
It's not often I get to shoot a personal best whilst I'm spearfishing, so this day was quite a special one. It didn't start off with that personal best, it started off actually hunting some crays. Our crayfish here aren't quite as tasty as the southern crays, but we still have some really nice crayfish species. Myself, Josh Ball, Andrew Jones, we headed out and we jumped in on some quite shallow reef. Started off looking for some of the cray holes. Did a couple of dives looking for the holes that I've been to in the past. And as I was coming down near the bottom, I was just scanning for a cray hole and I noticed a really nice grassy emperor making its way through the reef. One of my favorite eating fish, really tasty white fillets. And sometimes a little bit tricky. This one was just heading over the edge. As I quickly got in position, took my shot, and nailed myself, start of the day, a really nice grassy emperor. I clipped him off to the back of my gun, knowing that I was still in the right area for these cray holes. Josh Ball found the right cray hole. He did a dive and pulled a couple of nice crays out himself. Next I dove and I spotted a nice cray sitting back in the corner of one of the cray holes. Here in Queensland, we're allowed to shoot them. I dove down and instead of actually shooting it, I just poked it so I could grab a hold of it and pulled my very first nice lobster out of that hole. Jones grabbed one as well, and we're starting to get a couple of really nice crays. I made my way over to one of my favourite cray holes. Whenever I dive here, it's usually packed with crays. This was exactly the same as every other time. I came down on top of it and I lined up 2 crays in one shot. Pulled them out of the hole, and the boys that had crays, I noticed that we didn't actually need too many more crays. I dove again, and I found another cray by itself, and it actually was our bag limit, boat limit for the day.
Hey mate, what have you been up to? Oh, just needed 3 more crays to bag out, so. 3 in one shot, they must be thick. Only saw the one, ended up with 2, then there was the second one sitting beside, so I grabbed it by hand. Yeah.
We actually swum through a couple of the other cray holes nearby and just filmed the big masses of crays. And in fact, we even found some crays just walking along the bottom. I love moments like this. We've taken our bag limit and we're going to go and eat them with family and friends, but seeing so many more there is such a cool thing. We pulled anchor and we made a move to a place where I've in the past got more crays, but also shot nice tuskfish, cod, other really nice species. I was breathing up and first dive, I was heading to the bottom. I had my head tucked in, Ball was diving beside me, Jones was on the surface. And about halfway down, I heard a shot go off back on the surface. In my head, straight away, I thought the only thing that Jones is shooting from the surface would be a wahoo. I turned around and I noticed Jones had missed and was reloading. I made my way back to the surface and I was scanning the surface looking for a wahoo. And as I got closer to the surface, I didn't just see a wahoo, I saw a monster wahoo. I hit the surface, took a breath, and I just started tracking in, trying to keep behind that wahoo. I just noticed that fish was so fat. The girth on it was incredible. It was so long. My goal was just to keep in behind it and just try and keep up with it as I just followed that wahoo slowly off into the distance. I noticed that it wasn't bolting, it was just swimming slowly. Again, I just tried to creep slowly and slowly and slowly to catch up to that wahoo. After a couple of minutes of following that wahoo, I noticed it was just doing slow loops around the boat. Tried to get right in behind it really close, and as I did, it got curious and turned and just come down past me to check me out. I just ducked under the surface and I was saying to myself, don't mess this up, don't mess this up, make it a good shot. I got a good shot into that fish and smoked off into the distance.
Big wahoo!
I knew that was a big wahoo. I tried to fight it gently, and incredibly, it didn't run as fast as often big wahoo do. That fish just looped and looped and looped. At one stage, I was getting dragged by it and I nearly hit my head on the boat, realizing it had taken me right back to the boat.
Always, with the wahoo, always.
Now, wahoo of this size are very powerful fish. They're one of the fastest fish in the ocean. Unfortunately, they have very soft skin, and I often like to make sure I get a second shot into these fish. Paulo called up to me, he said, hey, do you want a second shot? I said, yes, certainly. Let's make sure that we do. As I got that fish closer, Josh Ball got down to do a second shot. Oh my gosh. If you ever wonder why Paulo misses so many fish, a 34 kilo wahoo, he clips it with that much skin on the tummy.
How could you miss? He was 3 feet in front of you!
Next, Jones dove down. He fortunately put a great shot into its head and we pulled up this massive wahoo. I'm laughing, looking at Josh Ball's second shot.
How's your second shot, Paul Bag? Have a look at the second shot. He was sitting still when you did that shot. How'd you miss it? Ball.
Perfect to beat. Bob trying to make it more angry. Disaster.
We were stoked, we couldn't believe it, this monstrous fish on a spot I've never even seen wahoo before. The water wasn't even very deep. We obviously weren't there targeting wahoo, but we were stoked with this incredible fish. We got some great footage swimming back to the boat. Just blown away by the girth of this fish, the size of it.
Coming out, in a hurry.
No, that didn't need a second shot.
Yeah, no.
That was them coming out. That's a big log.
He's a massive log. He's 30 kilos. Yeah. Look here. Oh, yeah, proper wahoo. Dirty big dog. Jonesy missed. Turned around, see him on the surface. After him. Have a check of this.
Next was the challenge to get these old arms to lift this wahoo up into the boat.
Yeah, big log. Yee-hoo. Real gun logs.
The boys were filming me. I got it first go, straight into the boat. Really big wahoo, absolutely stoked.
Pushing 30. That's a big log. Dangerous shading fish. Dirty big log. Yoo-hoo.
Now, as I said before, getting PBs is not something that happens to me a lot. I've been diving for a long period of time and shot a lot of really good fish. So to shoot this PB wahoo was really, really cool. Added to that, it was shot out of my own boat, in my own local waters, and on a reel gun as well. So absolutely stoked. To just give a little sneaky extra bonus to it, Jones missed it right before I shot it. So that was just like the joke for months that Jones just scared that wahoo over to me. Really, really cool. Once we got in the boat, we just absolutely stoked by the size of that fish. Trying to get in the esky didn't work so well. I had to actually just remove a bit of the tail just to be able to shut the esky because it was too big for the esky that we had. These fish, even at this size, make beautiful sashimi. My family loves sashimi. I got lots of friends that love that. Even the frame was sent to friends to cut up, and they ate most of that raw as well because it is so, so tasty.
Big log. Cheers, boys. And ball bag cook for us.
I did actually.
This ball, you cook better than ball bag.
What? Same recipe.
It's okay. Same recipe. It's a love that you put into it, this ball.
From there, we've had an awesome day. It's first thing in the morning. We've bagged out on our crays, shot a couple of nice fish, including a huge wahoo. We decided let's go out and just target some other reef fish and see if we can get some fish for home and for some friends later on. First dive on this new spot, I actually landed on some really cool fish. Off in the distance, I could see some jobfish. They hung back, they wouldn't come in close. But a school of smallmouth nannygai came in. Now, down here in Brisbane, this area, very rare to shoot a smallmouth nannygai. So I thought, I'm gonna take one of those. They're actually quite tasty. So I shot myself a nice smallmouth nannygai. Unfortunately, as I was landing that fish, I noticed that the sharks had picked up the fact that we're in the area. Next dive, I hit the bottom and was just confronted by two really big bull sharks. Come right in on me. I actually saw those jobfish again off in the distance. Jones landed behind me. and he shot himself one of those jobfish. Unfortunately, I knew what was going to be the outcome as I headed to the surface, unable to stop the jobfish that took off. I knew it was going to get eaten, and it did. The rest of the day was basically jumping from spot to spot, looking for other fish. I was pretty content. I already had a really nice fish, and we had some nice lobsters. For me, the only fish I wanted to take for the rest of the day was a tusk fish, one of my favourite eating fish. This next spot, we anchored up, quite deep water, and as I come to the bottom, quite clear, I noticed beautiful big tusk fish snaking along the bottom. Tucked in, tried to make sure I didn't fin too hard. He just kicked off, stuck away from me, slowly come back, a little bit of curiosity, cost him. Shot him down on the way down, nailed myself a really nice tusk fish. Make sure I pulled that thing up as quick as I could. I know sharks have been in the area, and I was content for the day. For me, big wahoo, crayfish, and a tusk fish. I didn't need to shoot any more fish. I spent the rest of the day boating. After a couple of hours, the boys were also content. We thought we'd actually call a day early. It's not often I head in early, but after lunch we headed in. It'd been an incredible day. We're absolutely stoked. PB, some really nice reef fish, some beautiful crayfish. That's what spearfishing is all about. Hey, I want to throw a big shout out to all of those that have messaged me recently on social media. I've just had a plethora of people saying thank you for inspiring. Thank you for encouraging you to get in the water. Hey, thank you for showing some of the footage and also picking up some of the tips that we lay down. I hope you are learning a lot from what we do. And again, please continue to send us those things. We appreciate it so much. Thank you for all those that like, subscribe. We ask that you continue to do that. And quick reminder to everyone that wants to get a hold of some reef gear. Here in Australia, you can jump on the Adreno website or head into the Adreno stores. Remember, Tim Spear, get your 10% discount and nice value for this incredible gear that I use all the time and I'm sure that you will love as well. Hey, don't miss out on the next couple of episodes. It's actually here locally. It's a Bucks trip, Bryson's Bucks trip. We had guys come from all over Australia to come together. We shot some really cool fish. We had a bunch of laughs. Don't miss out on this. I know you're gonna love it.